So putting up these ceiling boards I thought would be pretty straightforward, but it's turned out to be one of the most awkward jobs I've ever done. In my last video, after hitting a few problems, I managed to get all the ceiling framing up and fitted. So now it's time to fix the ceiling boards. So I've been watching a few YouTube videos on how to hang drywall by yourself, so I thought I'd give it a try, and that was a complete disaster. I fell off the ladder and I almost broke my neck. So I decided to enlist the help of my two boys. I didn't realise how much of a struggle it would be. So even though it was three of us, it was still a difficult task. I made the supports just what they showed me on YouTube, but it was still a very awkward job to do. Many times it felt like the board was going to give way on us, but after trying different methods, different positions, eventually we did manage to get some screws in. Once you get the first screw in, then you're laughing because the boys can then relax. So this is the first board that we put up. It was a bit of a struggle, to be honest, but we got there. You can see that I used these two props to hold it and support it, and also I had a small platform which I could stand on, which helped me to reach the ceiling, so it wasn't too bad for height wise. I had this lip here so that I could slot the board into there to support it while fixing the other end. So I had my two boys helping me with this, and it was our first one, so it went as well as to be expected. Onto the second board, we was getting the hang of it, but it was still a struggle. But because it was so low down, we managed to get it done reasonably well. So we got this middle section done. I wouldn't say it was easy. We struggled with each board, but with perseverance we did get it done. The hardest part is measuring it precisely for each board, making sure it fits perfect. But in the end it came out pretty well. So that's the first two sections done. So it leaves us this final section which is very high and we cannot reach with this small ladder. So I'm going to have to do this section on my own. So I'm going to cut the boards in half, so it's going to be easy for me to manage. Well, there's the first piece in, screwed and fixed. It went quite well. I was actually quite worried about doing this section because it's so high and I was going to do it on my own, but it went well. So just measure the next step, another 1.2 meters, and carry on. Well, we finally got it done. All the plasterboard is now up, and I honestly couldn't have done it without the help of my two boys. So thank you, boys. Thank you for your help. It was a struggle at times, and I definitely wouldn't want to do this for a living, but I'm pleased how it has turned out. So my next job is the walls. I will be dotting and dabbing the walls. So if that interests you, check out my next video if you want to see how that turns out. So thank you for watching. Click a like, click a subscribe if you're happy.